Hi, welcome to another Canto RoboFlow training movie. In this training movie, I'm going to show you how you can call a URL from RoboFlow and do something with the result. An interesting case for testing this is keeping track of your client licenses. It's sometimes difficult for a company to figure out how many licenses they need or what they're used for or who are using them at a certain moment in time. So Cumulus has a URL that you can call that gives you a report of how many licenses are used. So what we're going to do in Cumulus in the server console is create with RoboFlow here a new RoboFlow workflow that keeps track of the usage of these licenses. So you can see I just logged into the server console, and if I now do a refresh of this, I suddenly see that I have two connections to Cumulus. One of them is read-write and the other takes a license, read-write L, and so it takes a license. So my connection to the server console takes a license. At this point, my RoboFlow connection, which is running behind the scenes, does not yet take a user license because the workflows are not running. They're all disabled or running on demand. So I create a new hot folder workflow, and I call it track user licenses. And for instance, you can run this every hour. And so every hour it could check your user usage. I'm just going to run it on demand now because I'm creating it. I'm going to add a new feature or functionality. By default, a hot folder workflow, when it looks into a folder, it deletes the file and finds a file, it processes the file and then deletes the file. I want to disable this behavior because in the hot folder I'm going to put a parameter file as the starting point of my workflow. I need to launch every hour, for instance, this workflow, so there must be a file in the drop folder. So I want to keep the file in the drop folder and process this over and over again, not deleting it. So how do I find out what this special parameter is to avoid? Well, in the help you can find that there is a parameter that if you set it to false, that it will prevent the deletion of the files. So files that are dropped, if I put in this parameter and I say false, then files in the drop folder will no longer be deleted. So I'm going to here say new, and I'm going to call this test licenses. Okay. And if I want to make it a little bit generic, I'm just going to put here application folder. So if I import this in another environment, in another installation, it should keep the same functionality. Application folder. Okay, select. Stupid. Of course, I should have done it here. Like that. Application folder. Good. I'm going to say that I'm only going to process my parameter file, which will be in that particular folder. And so now I'm going to create that file. So let me go to that particular folder and my setup, Canto. Here I have my test licenses, and I'll have a new file here, a new text file, URL to call And you could make multiple URLs to call, of course. In this case, I'm just gonna make one URL to call. And of course, we have already the URL here in our browser. So Control C, that's the URL I'm going to call. Here, http:// oh, it did copy it, but not show it in the browser apparently. So here we go. Control yeah, let's remove this. I don't know why it's underscoring. Control, so edit, paste. I don't know where these underscores come from, but okay. I'm just saving it as a plain text, so let's see for my file if it's, I don't like the fact, okay, that's just standard behavior. URL call. Okay, so now I go back to my RoboFlow workflow. I have everything set up. I get a hot file here. I'm going to read the hot file, so I can say new. I'm going to read it. I know it has text lines and I want to process every text line, so I'm going to go for file folder functionality. I could say read as text, store file as text, but so here store text file as table, but actually I want to do just process text lines from file. I don't have to, otherwise I have to do that anyway, then split, blah blah blah. So I can say I want to line to process, and this is then going to be the URL I want to call. And now I can say new, conditional, no, I'm going to do notification, call URL and save to file. That's one thing that I could do, or I could just call the URL. And now, which is the URL that you want to call? Well, I just had lines from text file, so I'm picking that up. Lines, line to process, and the output variable is result. And now I can output the result, and I can say notification, and I can say write text to log, and here I can say the URL that I called, so line to process, and then I can say result, and that would be hack like this, and then somewhere we have here result. I can process that result, it's text, so I could read the lines of that result, get the number. If it's higher than this or that, I could send an email to you notifying, careful, watch out, you're almost running out of licenses. Or I could process the individual lines and say, okay, watch out, you have licenses that have been opened, started longer than 10 hours or 20 hours or whatever. So this is a very, very basic example of what you could do. You could push this to an SQL database. You could just write this information into your SQL database, and it could enable you, give you opportunity to track those things. So lots of possibilities. This is just how to show you that this can work. So I'm going to start this workflow, and then we can monitor what it's doing. So where it is, let's have a look in the log, and we can see that here we call this URL, and the result is 2 connections, 1 counting, and here you can see what licenses are connected. And as I said, this is a very simple example of how to keep track of your licenses, but now you could come in and parse this you could read this parameter, or you could say I'm looking for counting and then looking for this parameter, and then say, okay, if it's greater than that or that value, then I should send out an email, notify an administrator. Or you could write this information to an SQL database, as I said before. Here, from this information, you know when a license was taken, so that could help you track licenses that stay open too long for some reason, and giving you information about that. So here was just a very simple workflow that you can extend in many directions. Basic functionality is calling an URL and picking up the result, and then maybe doing something with that specific URL, with that specific result of that URL. So thank you for joining this training movie, and see you in another one. Let me know if you have any questions or suggestions for other topics to cover. Bye.